Just wanted to talk, that's all.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome back. Tuesday, August 5th, and we are just a few hours away from the Yankees trying to get off the mat and snap their losing streak. Hey, look, it's been pretty clear over the last several weeks that this Yankees team is extremely flawed in a lot of ways. The fundamentals continue to be an issue. They were an issue last year. It seems like they're an issue almost every year under Aaron Boone. They are now 5.5 games back in the East. They are a couple of games behind the Red Sox, who are charging since trading Rafael Devers and have some of the best young talent in the game. And the Yankees are at very real risk of dropping out of the playoff picture entirely if they don't get it going. But the Yankees do have a weapon coming back, Aaron Judge. And if Aaron Judge goes ballistic, like we've seen Aaron Judge do, now's the time, big guy. Now is the time to carry this team. 37 home runs, 1.160 OPS. He can change games by himself. If they pitch to him, he can be a difference maker. And Aaron Judge needs to come back and put this team on his back for a couple of weeks. At least. Let's get through this funk. Let's get the energy back. Let's get the bullpen back into a rhythm. New guys understanding their roles. Let's use these guys properly. And to you, Aaron Boone, if you're watching, that means Devin Williams got to be out as the ninth inning guy. We got some news to talk about. So the Yankees have made several moves today. Mark Leiter back from his rehab assignment. He has been reinstated. Judge obviously back. Yerry De Los Santos is back. Austin Slater going to the 10-day IL with left hamstring strain. And JT Brubaker designated for assignment. Now, with Slater going to the injured list and Jake Bird being sent down, that's already two of the Yankees' trade acquisitions from this trade deadline that are no longer on the 25-man roster, 26-man roster. Nice job. Good going. Fantastic. Volpe E6. Oh, man, that's wrong. Says, for those of you listening, the guy's username is Volpe E6, and that's tough. He says, in Judge we trust. And Raphael Schaefer says, Judge can't save them by himself. 100%. You're 100% right. But Judge coming back and getting hot can be a game changer. Now is not the time to deal with a 1-for-15 slump. We need Judge to come back and be full Aaron Judge for at least a few weeks. We need him to... It's not about catching or passing the home run leaders anymore. It's about catching and passing the people in our division. And that means big hits in big spots. Something that he has done a few times this year, but the Yankees have lost those games. You remember the game against the Red Sox, Garrett Crochet, 100-mile-an-hour fastball, hit it 9 miles. He's had some big hits. I believe he had one against Toronto. It's time for Aaron Judge to put this team on his back for a little while. Let's get to some voicemails. We got a bunch of voicemails today. This first one is about the madness.
Hey, Derek, it's Dave from North Georgia calling in again. This madness going on with the Yankees and the way they're being managed is, well, it's ridiculous. I've stopped watching games for quite a while now because I just can't stand to watch a team be so mismanaged as they are by this clown Boone. I'm beginning to wonder that Boone is actually doing this on purpose so that he will be fired. I can't believe that anybody could be this dumb and this stupid to ruin a team the way he's ruined this team, you know.
I don't think he's losing on purpose, if that's what you're getting at. Incompetence is a thing. It doesn't take a genius to see that Devin Williams was not the closer. He doesn't have that thing in his blood that closers need. And I can't ever imagine a scenario where he gains it, right? He's not a New York City guy. And we've been able to see that since the beginning of the season. And unfortunately, Boone is stuck with him.
Hey, Derek, appreciate everything you do for the show. Watch it every day. The question, who's going to be the one to light the fire under some asses? I'm kind of disappointed in And it's hard to say without us looking in. We're not in the locker room. Judge doesn't look like he gets fired up after a loss. Big G doesn't look like he gets fired up after a loss. Who's going to be the one to start lighting some fires under some asses?
You know, it's funny you mentioned Big G because he does seem like somebody to me that would get fired up after a loss. He's kind of a quiet, gentle giant, though. But you could tell that there's some intensity. Remember, he said he didn't want to see people wearing their ALCS championship ring. Judge, we don't know how fired he gets up behind closed doors, but again, he doesn't seem like a guy who's going to flip tables and smash coffee machines. This team misses the Brett Gardner or the Ronald Torreyes or, you know, the scrappy guy who, you know, who didn't have the greatest exit velocity in the world, who wasn't a number one draft pick, who had to get here on being an excellent player, on being gritty. You know, they've got a bunch of very, very rich people, a bunch of MVPs, a lot of hardware. But where's the grit? You know, where's the guy who had to get by on the, you know, scraping on it by his teeth? You know, you got a first-round draft pick behind the play. I mean, I guess Ben Rice could be one of those guys. You know, he kind of had to come up the hard way. You know? But, I mean, the infield is full of, you got Wells, top draft pick. You got Goldschmidt, former MVP, right? You got Jazz Chisholm, who, you know, I think he feels like he was born to be famous, you know? And then you got Volpe, top draft pick. McMahon, he was the guy with the Rockies for a while. I think he's going to be a good player. He's a little bit scrappy. Dominguez, number one international signee. Bellinger, MVP. I think he was a top pick. Judge, top pick. We need the scrappy guys, right? David Cohn didn't have a high school team. You know, he had to figure it out. Maybe there's something to that.
Hey there, Derek. This is John calling here. So I went to the Baseball Hall of Fame earlier in the summer, which was a wonderful trip, and I highly recommend you go if you haven't been before. And one quotation that I saw at the Hall of Fame really caught my eye and reminded me of this Boone situation that we're dealing with currently. This was a quote from Casey Stengel, 9-time world champion Casey Stengel. And the quotation was, "To be a successful manager, you must keep the players that hate you away from the players who are undecided." Basically meaning that the manager and the players don't have to have a harmonious relationship. In fact, they should probably have more of a contentious relationship because you're holding people accountable for their actions. That's why Casey Stengel was a 9-time world champion. That's why Aaron Boone has 0 world championships. And plain and simple, he needs to stop being so nice to these guys, stop coddling them. I don't care about Devin Williams' feelings. He should get kicked down, middle relief at best, in my opinion. Thanks, Derek.
Great comment. That was a great comment. Bringing up Casey Stengel. I mean, not many managers have the resume that he had.
Mr. Eugenio Alicea. Good morning. My name is Eugenio Alicea. I'm calling from Puerto Rico. Listen, I would like to know which is the secret between the Steinbrenner and Boone. This is the worst money I ever seen, and I've been watching MLB since 1962. And, you know, it's incredible how long they're going to wait to fire this guy. Thank you.
It does seem like the Yankees are awful lenient with Aaron Boone. I mean, he's gotten a long run here and has not had a lot of success. I know they made the World Series last year, but what happens if Giancarlo Stanton doesn't go on like a home run barrage? You know? I don't think they get there. Here's Patrick.
How you doing, Derek? It's Patrick from Jersey. I just wanted to say I was talking with one of my friends, and we kind of realized Brian Cashman, if he gets kept on for next year, which God knows Hal wants to keep him on for next year because he's terrified of changing anything. If we keep Brian Cashman on, that'll be his 28th season as the Yankees GM. And that's got to be maybe the first time in like 100 years that a Yankees GM has more years tenured than the team has World Series won. And I know that that's maybe like a very spoiled take to have, but that's disgusting to think about. And I don't like calling for people's heads or for people to get fired, but maybe we could give him a different job besides GM and get some new voices in here. Because
yeah, I 100% agree that he's been the GM for far too long, and that's an interesting stat that you brought up. 28 years is a long time to be in one industry, one job. I mean, sure, you get good at some of the stuff, right? But the game, to a certain degree, could pass you by, too. And maybe it has. Raymond Vellon wants Joe Madden. I've seen a lot more people calling for Joe Madden. He's another guy who's kind of like a player-friendly coach, but he also holds guys accountable, from what we've heard. Here's Joe.
Hey, Derek. This is Joe from Connecticut. Just had some thoughts on Boone. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one, but, when it comes to his press conferences and things he says, I'm really kind of just really sick and tired of hearing his voice and hearing all the excuses. And that just got me thinking, if I'm sick and tired of hearing this, the players have got to be sick and tired of hearing this, too. And that's probably where the message isn't going through. And I know they like him because he's a good guy. I think he's a good guy, too. I can see myself go grabbing a beer with him, watching a game, and shooting the shit. But as my boss, he comes off as a little bit of a pussy. And
yeah. Look, there is something to be said for keeping that separation, like the guy I was talking about with Casey Stengel. I'm sure Joe Girardi didn't go out and hang out with the guys. I know for sure Joe Torre didn't. Joe Torre went to the racetrack. I'm all in favor of having a tiered system. Players and coaches different than the players. And I know or coaches and manager in a different tier than the players. And I know that the players make 10 times as much, and that's what complicates this. Here's Kurt.
Hey, it's Kurt in Burlington, Vermont. Love the show. And the Yankees, this is a total indictment of Aaron Boone and Brian Cashman. They've developed a team that is one-dimensional offense. If they don't hit a pile of home runs, they don't score. They leave the bases loaded time and again. Boone doesn't understand. You get into we're 0-6 on the road in extra innings. That falls partly on the manager because they have pounded it into these guys that it's all about launch angle and exit velocity and all that instead of situational hitting, getting on base, scoring runs, other ways than just hitting a home run. And it's on Boone and Cashman that they've got a team that's weak, terrible on fundamentals year after year. They weren't embarrassed enough when the Dodgers called them out on it after the World Series that they corrected it. They're back out the next year doing base running, blunder after blunder.
I appreciate the call, man. Yeah, it's hard to believe that we're dealing with this again, that we're having the same conversations that we had all year. It's got to be frustrating. It's got to be. I know I'm frustrated. It's frustrating for you, I'm sure. But I'm not entirely sure that just swapping out the manager fixes this team's base running magically. I mean, it might be like a multi-year process of getting new voices in the system, new processes in place, new players. It's unfortunate to say, but this might not be something we could fix right away.
Hey, Derek. I'm 81 years old. I live in the Seattle area, and my first game was 1953. I had the pleasure of seeing Casey, Mickey, Yogi, and Whitey. And today when I turn on the Yankee game, what do I get? I get Dopey, Sleepy, Sneezy, and Goofy. Derek, how did this happen? I really enjoy your show. Keep up the good work.
Appreciate the call. There's a man who had his take ready. I appreciate that. Not exactly a ringing endorsement, having watched the Yankees for now over 70 years, to basically equate them with, what, sleepy, dopey, whatever, And this is a man who sounds like he's seen some things. Here's some advice from me.
Hey, Derek, it's a Steve situation. Things aren't going too well in Yankee land, but I thought I'd give you some advice, and I hope you take it, so you can save some time and have a very nice rest of your summer. Simply cut and paste all of the previous shows that you've had, because basically everything that bad that's happened to the Yankees is repeating itself. This looks like Clay Holmes all over again. And they're not going to do anything with this manager. let's bring in Joe Girardi. Let's stop this. This is an abomination of the New York.
I don't think they'll ever bring back in Girardi because that would be admitting that they made a mistake. I'm not sure Girardi would even want to come back, right? I think, unfortunately, if you allow Cashman to hire the next manager, it's going to be Boone 2.0. That's just exactly what it's going to be. Hal needs to separate himself out from everybody in the organization at arm's length and make some tough decisions. Do I have the right people around me to bring this organization back to where it should be and where it historically has been? Here's Patrick.
Hi, Derek. This is Patrick. I'm from Boston, so I live in enemy territory. I represent the Yankees as much as I can, but I have to say I haven't tried to hide my Yankee jersey going out in public because the Yankees just suck right now. But I gotta say that Boone gets a lot of the blame, but Cashman should get a lot of blame just as well. I mean, this organization needs a complete overhaul from top to bottom. I mean, just the pitchers he's going on and get. I mean, Sonny Gray, Frankie Montas, Marcus Stroman. I mean, it's not just Boone. Cashman has to take a lot of this heat, too. Anyway, I just want to say, great show. Listen to every day, and have a great rest of your day.
Appreciate it, Patrick. And the only person above Cashman is Steinbrenner. And I think Steinbrenner is more concerned with the bottom line. You know, he looks at, well, we lost in the first round, we lost in the second round, whatever. Did we make money? Right? Did we finish out ahead? Are all of our partners happy? Are all of our debts satisfied? That's what he cares about. Right? The global brand. We know what helped the global brand a lot? Get back to winning. How was the Chiefs' global brand before they won all those championships? How was the Golden State Warriors' global brand before they won all those championships? Winning helps the brand. Here's Darren.
Hey, Derek. Darren from Scranton, PA. Yep, there I am, watching the game last night. Not feeling confident at any point, because how could you? And then they showed Aaron Boone on the top step of the dugout blowing his bubbles. And I thought to myself, holy shit, I got to take my hat off to the Red Sox fans. They gave us his nickname years ago. But Aaron fucking Boone.
That's pretty good. That's the nickname, that moniker he was given in honor of Bucky effing Dent after he hit that home run in the World Series, and now Yankees fans saying it in a different fashion. Let's wrap up here. We got a call here about our catcher situation.
Hey, Derek. I believe the Yankees have a problem. And it's that there's no catcher that can carry behind the plate all of those pitchers. When you think of a catcher, you can't just think defensive and offensive. Look at Yadier Molina. He was catcher. He wasn't a defensive catcher. He would tell the pitchers what pitch to throw, and they would throw it right there. And he wasn't the best at hitting, but God, he could catch. And there's catchers right now that have been DFA'd by other teams that could help the Yankees for sure.
I'm not sure what you're saying. I mean, you want to bring in another defensive catcher? I mean, maybe that helps a little bit. You know who would help? A former defensive catcher as your manager. Also, Joe Girardi. I think, he used to work with Gary Sanchez. And then after he left, Sanchez, went downhill.
Hey, Derek.
Final call.
Hey, Derek. This is AJ calling in from Dallas, Texas. I was just at the game last night, and what I could see is terrible. The thing I'm thinking about is we got to reconsider if we're going to rebuild this team or not. We got Paul Skeens, Terry School coming up in free agency. Why not? Just let all of our players walk and go all in on them.
It's not coming up as soon as you think for Paul Skeens. And Schoolboy, I mean, why would he want to come here? He's already with the Tigers, who are pretty good, up and coming, having success there, clearly comfortable. And they've shown a willingness to spend in recent years. They've got the money. Yankees' best bet is to replace the people who develop players within your organization, the finer detail type people. Develop some of your own players, pay to keep them around, and supplement it with free agents in spots where you need it, like when you need a big shortstop or whatever, and there's one available. or Bryce Harper's out there for the taking, or Manny Machado's out there for the taking, and you have a chance to get a generational star. That's the way the Yankees have done it in the past. But a lot of problems in recent years. You build the team for right-handers when you play in a left-handed park for all those years, and you get two left-handed. Now you got, just a awful coaching staff, awful development, awful fundamentals, and a closer who is clearly not built for the big stage. I'll be back after the game tonight. Thanks to everybody who called in. We'll catch you next time. If you made it this far, do us a favor, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and join our community. You can also be a part of the show by calling in at 718-899-1068. Also, part of the way that we maintain and fund all of this is through NYYDesigns.shop. Check it out now. Get all sorts of fun Yankees merch, hats, hoodies, zip-ups, beanies, mugs, you name it. We've got it. Check it out, NYYDesigns.shop. And check out Pinstripe Territory on all your favorite podcast platforms. We are the official Yankees podcast of the Foul Territory Network. We're here for post-game shows after every single game, and we're here before a lot of games to talk about the game, preview the lineup, the pitching matchups, and things like that. And we're here all off-season to talk about the latest in Yankees rumors, news, etc. Join our community. We'll see you next time.